What is the goal of a good life? For most of us, and for most of history, the answer has seemed simple: to be happy. We chase happy feelings, we seek out moments of pleasure, and we do our best to avoid pain. For years, the very field of psychology that was meant to understand the human condition agreed. As the founder of the positive psychology movement, Dr. Martin Seligman himself helped create a science focused on a simple question: how can we measure and increase happiness? But what if happiness is the wrong goal? What if a life based solely on chasing positive feelings is a shallow, incomplete, and ultimately unsatisfying one? What if our obsession with the single metric of life satisfaction is causing us to miss the bigger, richer, and more meaningful picture of what it means to live a truly good life? This is the profound and revolutionary shift in thinking proposed by Dr. Seligman in his landmark book, Flourish. In this work, he makes a courageous intellectual move. He revises his own celebrated theory. He argues that we need to move beyond a simple theory of happiness and embrace a richer, more complete, and more scientifically grounded concept: well-being. Today on Geeky Philosopher, we are going to explore this new science of human flourishing. This is not just a guide to feeling good, it is a blueprint for building a life that is filled with deep engagement, meaningful relationships, a sense of purpose, and the pride of accomplishment. This is the science of what it truly means to flourish. To understand Seligman's visionary new theory, we first have to understand the old one he helped create, and then chose to dismantle. For years, the gold standard in positive psychology was authentic happiness theory. It was a huge leap forward from a psychology that only focused on illness, but it had a central flaw. Authentic happiness theory proposed that the goal of life was to increase your overall life satisfaction. This was seen as the ultimate measure of a good life, and it was built on three pillars: positive emotion, experiencing feelings like joy, pleasure, and warmth; engagement, the experience of flow, of being completely absorbed in a task, meaning belonging to and serving something you believe is bigger than yourself. This was a good start, but after years of research, Seligman realized this theory was too simplistic, and the ultimate goal of life satisfaction was too narrow. The biggest problem was that it was a purely subjective, in-your-head measure. A person could be a recluse, playing video games all day, feeling engaged and getting moments of pleasure, and might report high life satisfaction. But we would not intuitively call that a flourishing, well-lived life. He also realized that the theory left out some crucial elements of what people actually pursue. People often strive for success and achievement, even if it causes them stress and reduces their moment-to-moment happiness. And the vital importance of relationships seemed to be a side effect, not a core pillar. So he went back to the drawing board. He asked, what are the things that free people in and of themselves choose to pursue for their own sake? The answer led him to a new, more robust theory of well-being. The goal is not just happiness, the goal is to flourish. And he identified 5 essential, measurable pillars that make up this flourishing life. Seligman's new framework is a simple, powerful, and elegant acronym: PERMA. Each of these 5 letters represents a fundamental, independent pillar of well-being. They are not just pathways to happiness, they are the elements of well-being. To flourish, you need to cultivate all 5. P is for positive emotion, E is for engagement, R is for relationships, M is for meaning, A is for accomplishment. This is not just a random list. Each element has to meet 3 criteria. It contributes to well-being. Many people pursue it for its own sake, not just to get any of the other elements. It is defined and measured independently of the other elements. Let's do a deep dive into each of these pillars. Notice that happiness is still a part of the model. It's positive emotion, but it's just one part of 5. A flourishing life requires so much more. The first pillar is the one we are most familiar with. Positive emotion is exactly what it sounds like: feeling good. It's the experience of pleasure, joy, warmth, gratitude, serenity, hope, and love. It is the happy part of the happiness equation. This is an essential part of a good life. Seligman is not arguing against happiness, but he is recontextualizing it. A life dedicated only to maximizing positive emotion is a shallow one. It can lead to what he calls pleasure-seeking, or a hedonistic treadmill, where we are constantly chasing the next hit of good feeling. The key is to cultivate positive emotions that are authentic and sustainable, not just fleeting pleasures. He champions simple, scientifically backed exercises that have been shown to genuinely increase a person's baseline level of optimism and gratitude. The most famous of these is the 3 blessings exercise, also known as what went well. The practice is simple. Every night before you go to sleep, for 1 week, you write down 3 things that went well that day. And next to each one, you write a brief explanation of why it went well. This simple act, which takes only a few minutes, has been shown in studies to have a profound and lasting impact. It trains your brain to scan your life for the positive, counteracting our natural negativity bias. People who do this exercise report feeling happier and less depressed, with the effects lasting for up to 6 months. Another powerful exercise is the gratitude visit. Think of someone who has made a huge, positive difference in your life, but whom you have never properly thanked. Write them a detailed letter, about 300 words long, explaining exactly what they did and how it affected your life. Then, you arrange to meet them, and you read the letter aloud to them. The results of this exercise are explosive, for both the giver and the receiver, often creating one of the most powerful positive emotional experiences of their lives. Positive emotion is a vital ingredient, but it is just the starting point of a truly flourishing life. The second pillar is engagement. This is the concept of flow, which we've explored in the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, a close colleague of Seligman. Engagement is the state of being completely and totally absorbed in an activity. It is the feeling the artist has when they are lost in their painting, the feeling the programmer has when they are solving a complex problem, the feeling the rock climber has when they are focused on their next move. In a state of flow, time seems to stop. Your sense of self, the nagging voice of your ego, dissolves. You are not thinking, "Am I happy right now?" In fact, you are not thinking or feeling much of anything. You are just completely one with the activity. It is a state of pure, effortless concentration and absorption. Seligman argues that this is a critical component of well-being, completely separate from positive emotion. You can be deeply engaged in a task that is difficult and not necessarily fun in the moment, but when you look back on it, you recognize it as one of the best experiences of your life. The path to engagement is to first identify your signature strengths. These are the things you are naturally good at and that you love to do. The VIA Institute on Character has a free online survey that can help you identify your top 5. Then the goal is to recraft your life, your work, your hobbies, your relationships, so that you can use your signature strengths as often as possible. A life of engagement is a life where you are constantly being challenged at the peak of your skills. The third, and arguably most important, pillar is positive relationships. This is a recurring theme in our explorations, from the good life to lost connections. The science is overwhelming and undeniable. Human beings are social creatures, and the quality of our relationships is the single greatest predictor of our well-being. Seligman's research confirms this emphatically. He notes that very happy people are, without exception, extremely social and have strong, rich relationships. He goes so far as to say that other people are the best antidote to the downs of life and the single most reliable up. Positive relationships are the ultimate amplifier of the other pillars. We share our positive emotions with others. We often find meaning and accomplishment in service to our relationships. One of the most practical and powerful skills for building strong relationships is what Seligman calls active and constructive responding. When someone you care about shares good news with you, there are 4 ways you can respond. Imagine your partner comes home and says, "I got the promotion." A passive destructive response would be to ignore them. "Oh cool, what's for dinner?" An active destructive response would be to diminish the news. "Really, are you sure you can handle that much responsibility?" A passive constructive response would be a quiet, low-energy validation. "That's nice, dear." But the only one that actually builds the relationship is the active constructive response. You stop what you're doing, you engage with genuine enthusiasm, and you ask questions. "That's incredible news. I'm so proud of you. Tell me exactly what happened. What was your boss's reaction? We have to go out and celebrate." Learning to be an active and constructive responder to the good news of others is one of the most powerful and simple tools for strengthening our most important bonds. The final 2 pillars give our lives a sense of purpose and forward momentum. The 4th pillar is meaning. Meaning is about belonging to and serving something that you believe is bigger than your own self-interest. This could be a traditional institution, like a religion or a nation, but it can also be a commitment to a cause, to your family, to your community, or to a set of values like science or art. While engagement is about being absorbed in the moment, meaning is about connecting your moments into a coherent narrative that is guided by your values. It is the why that fuels your life. As Nietzsche famously said, He who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. A life of meaning is one where you feel your existence is not just about your own pleasure, but is in service to something that will outlast you. The final and newest pillar that Seligman added to his theory is accomplishment. He realized that people often pursue success and achievement for its own sake, not just because it brings them positive emotion or a sense of meaning. There is a deep, intrinsic satisfaction in setting a difficult goal and then achieving it through your own skill and effort. This is the part of the model that recognizes the winning or the get-it-done part of our nature. A flourishing life is not just a life of feeling good and having a purpose. It is also a life of being effective, of building competence, and of making a tangible mark on the world. It is the pride that comes from a job well done. The PERMA model, positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning and accomplishment, is a beautiful and comprehensive blueprint for a life of well-being. It is not a prescriptive formula. Seligman is not telling you what should give you meaning or what you should achieve. It is a descriptive one. It shows us the 5 essential scientifically backed elements that a flourishing life contains. It's a call to move beyond the narrow, shallow pursuit of happiness and to embrace a richer, more complete and more meaningful vision of a good life. The message of Flourish is a deeply optimistic one. It is the culmination of the positive psychology movement, a science that is dedicated not just to healing what is broken, but to building what is best within us. It is a guide to not just surviving, but to truly, deeply flourishing. This book is an invitation to become the architect of your own well-being. It is a call to actively cultivate the positive emotions, the deep engagements, the loving relationships, the sense of meaning, and the proud accomplishments that make a life truly worth living. If you are a seeker of a richer, fuller and more flourishing life, then you are a student of this science. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, where we are dedicated to exploring the ideas that help us build our best selves. Thank you for being here.